Welcome to Hi Felicia. Hi Felicia, hi Felicia.
Felicia.
Yeah.
You're here.
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you always being here.
I don't know. You might think I live here.
I mean, you should.
Right.
Felicia, we need to talk about last night.
Yes. Go.
We had dinner with a listener.
Right.
Who I think she's our first listener who doesn't know us. Like, she's not a family person.
Right.
Not that no family listens to our podcast. She's not a friend.
Right.
She doesn't work with me. She's not a neighbor. She didn't go to college camp or high school. You know, like all the things. She's
Right.
a real listener. Her name is Sam. And she's a big fan. And she
was lovely.
She lives in Long Island, and we went to Butera in Woodbury.
Yes.
And we had so much fun. She was a breath of fresh air.
She spoke more than you.
As she should.
Yes.
Because I talk all the time.
Yes, but she had more stories than you.
For once.
Yes.
I really adore her, Sam. Nod to Sam. And the best part was...
And her family.
Yes, the whole
her
fam.
family.
Her little son, Brucey. Anybody that names their kid Bruce right now is awesome. Like, that's such a cool name right now. So as we're winding down at dinner, Sam was invited to a local bookstore, like a mom and pop store in Oyster Bay, to hear Don Lemon speak,
Formerly of CNN.
for his book that he's promoting.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go. And Felicia's like, you go, Marni, you go. So I went, and Don Lemon, I got to tell you, more handsome in person.
I'm sure.
Very attractive. Well, obviously we know he's well-spoken, charming. And the audience, it was 50 people of everybody, I want to say 60 and above. Mom, you would have been young there. I was the youngest person there. I'm not shitting you.
I'm kind of sorry now I didn't go. I would have loved to have seen him in person.
He was adorable, and it was such a small place.
Right.
And the front row was full of, ready for this, his lemon heads. He's got a fan of gaggle of women.
Women,
one
older.
flew in from San Francisco. One came in
Wow.
from Buffalo. They talk on the chat. They've become friends. Lemon heads. He's got a fan base. I love it. So shout out to Sam. Sam, thank you for bringing me to that event. I love an adventure. If anybody wants to invite me to anything, I usually will come. If my husband Casey's watching my son,
And
it's all
in
covered.
the New York area.
Well, I'll come if I'll maybe go to New Jersey.
Maybe. Ugh.
All right, we have a lot of news. OMG.
What's the news? What's the news?
Big update on the Menendez.
Okay. They're getting a retrial?
Oh my God.
That's pretty.
It was just
the
announced.
show? Because of the show.
No, first of all, there's new evidence. There's a letter that's been brought to light that was written, that was found, that he wrote to a cousin claiming that what his dad was doing, like a week before they killed the parents.
Right.
There was a family press conference, and literally I think all of the relatives of Kitty, except for the brother, except for apparently Kitty's older brother was like, they should rot in jail. But Kitty's sister came out. A lot of people came out saying, these guys did their time. They've been rehabilitated. Give them a second chance. So, and also, you know what was brought to light? And I said this on the pod last week.
What?
A damn Menudo boy has come out. He was assaulted in that house. Did I not say?
Why was it a Menudo boy? And the father was a
music producer.
Right.
And I said, I bet you one of the Menudo boys were probably, and yep, there you go. So now the DA has to determine about this resentencing. And I just heard, like yesterday, they are going to decide. This could take weeks, but I heard it's going to
take a long time.
Nope.
Yeah.
He said it's going to be decided within 10 days. We will know by probably next week's pod what the update is. Now, thanks to Darren Karp and her true crime podcast, she notified her listeners there is a petition, and you bet your butt I signed it, okay, to literally have the DA move forward with the resentencing trial. And if you want to sign a petition, it's justiceforericandlyle.org. Eric with a K, okay? If you don't remember that, just do a little rewind. Justiceforericandlyle.org. Also, was just announced today, Ryan Murphy is in discussion to
make a show about them. No,
they did make a show about them, Mom. Where have you been?
I don't watch it.
It doesn't matter.
So now, what is he
might add some episodes. There's more to the story.
Oh,
yeah, and those actors are now blowing up.
Right.
I mean, they did a great job.
Right.
They did a great job. So I'm very into all things Menendez.
Okie dokie.
Okay, I am. Did you hear about the One Direction guy, Liam Payne?
Yes, he was. He. What did he pass away from? Do they know?
So he fell off a balcony. By the way, like the third floor of a hotel. But
did he fall? Was he pushed? Was he drugged up?
He was so drugged up.
Oh,
the
they know
pictures.
They know that already?
Pictures that have been released of his hotel room is like tinfoil, white powder.
Wow, oh,
it's candles. Like it's not good. I think he was on heroin and. This poor receptionist of the hotel, like the recording of this 911 call came out.
Right.
And the receptionist
was hysterical, probably.
Very calm.
Uh-huh.
I think they were in, I don't know if it was Colombia, but he was like, there is a person staying at this hotel who's got erratic behavior under the abuse of alcohol and drugs. We are literally fearing his life because there's a balcony in his hotel.
She called in before?
It was a male.
He called in before?
Yeah, saying somebody needs to come here. The cops need to get here. This guy is showing erratic behavior. Apparently, like smashed the television, was going crazy, and literally said on the 911 call, there's a balcony. And I think in a rambunctious, drunken, fucked up state, he just fell. And apparently the record label just dropped him. Like all this news is coming out that just occurred like in his life. And he was
depressed
on
about it.
Yeah, and he was on a fucking drug spiral.
Oh.
So
how old was he? 28 or something?
30. I think it was like 31. Oh. Sad. It's really sad.
Very sad.
In other news. Sorry, quick change. Didn't we see Dirty Dancing on Broadway in the West End in London?
Oh, I don't remember.
I want to.
We did see something.
I think it was Dirty Dancing. It's in the works now for here 2025, and there was no mention of the West End show. But I'm telling you, we saw Dirty Dancing.
Well,
and
I'm sure there's a way you can like find out.
Well, it was not good.
Obviously, we didn't. I don't remember it.
The studio's been adapting. They've been talking about a sequel with Jennifer Grey reprising her role as Baby. That's been in the works since 2020.
Oh God. By the time they do it, she'll be in a walker.
Well, you know what? Maybe Baby's got a grandchild. I'm sure it'll be about her daughter,
of course,
and the Catskills.
But there's no more The Catskills is not like it used to be when they made that show.
But you're right. Now it's going to be the
Vegas.
Hamptons. No,
the Hamptons.
Where do people go? It could be
know.
Fire Island. It could be. Where do people go now? That is equivalent of like
Atlantic City.
Where wasn't it like all the Jews that went to the Catskills?
Yes.
Right, like a little bit Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Where do the Jews now go to Habitat in the summer?
Florida?
Let my people
No, not in the summer. I don't know. No. I don't know. I guess I bet
you they'll put a spin on it.
I'm sure
they'll put a spin on it.
I'm sure they will.
This also was announced, and I'm a little upset about it, I think. You know how much I loved Mr. and Mrs. Smith? I talked about how I really loved it.
Yes.
They are recasting for season 2.
Oh, you like the first cast?
I love Donald Glover, and he created it.
Yeah, he's good.
Billie Eilish is rumored to be like in talks to be in the mix to be Mrs. Smith. Apparently, she's been in a movie now. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
What movie has she been in?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
But I'm such a fan of the show. And sure, like the idea of the show is that there's a lot of Mr. and Mrs. Smiths in the country.
Well, yes.
So they could focus on another couple. But they just had great chemistry, that couple. So
I'm sure
I'm a little bummed about it.
That still has good chemistry.
We are going to want to see this. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Song Sung Blue. It's based on a 2008 documentary of the same name. Follows the true story of a Milwaukee couple, Mike and Claire, who, down on their luck, musicians become a local icons. But guess who's going to be the stars of this musical? Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson star as the musical couple. Cannot wait. Give me that musical drama.
I don't know. Wait.
You don't know of the story because you didn't see the documentary. It's just going to be a movie about like a couple that has like a Neil Diamond cover band, I believe.
Okay.
Also, we got tickets to see Hugh Jackman live at Radio City. Did you see his post on Instagram? It's like an ad for his tour.
I think he added some more shows also.
He did, and he added fucking matinees because it's doing so well.
Right.
We got tickets for the Friday night of Memorial Day weekend, and we're going to take Lennon, just me and Felicia, and I cannot wait. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
He's great. He's a great performer.
But he does like a funny promo on his Instagram.
I don't know why I didn't see that.
And Ryan Reynolds like chimes on in on the back.
Well, that's perfect.
It's just so great.
Yes,
it's great.
Perfect.
I love it. All right.
They're bros.
Okay, so I just want to say we have a big episode today because there's a lot of talk in this episode about lies. a lot of content this week, and I'm going to talk about the big finale of the week was Tell Me Lies. We have somebody coming on named Alexandra Hayes, and I met her during COVID, and we become very good friends, and I've watched her grow and her content grow, and I've watched her become an influencer, which is wild, and she's one of the smartest women I know. And I made her watch Tell Me Lies because she doesn't really watch a lot of TV. So we'll talk about Tell Me Lies, but let's get into it. Uncircumcised gems. All right, Mom.
What?
I'm going to hold on the anatomy of a lies because I just want to say this.
Save it, right?
Lonely Planet. Did you watch Lonely Planet?
No, I did not.
I just want to let everybody know. Do not waste your time.
Oh.
This was the worst movie ever. Like, how many movies we've discussed this? It's so funny because I thought maybe you're going to end up watching it, but literally,
I think you told me immediately. Don't bother.
Another woman falling for a younger man, Laura
right.
Dern and Liam Hemsworth. And
They're really. That's not a far stretch, though.
what, Laura and Liam? What do you mean?
I mean, he's not like a kid. I mean, he's not.
Zac Efron didn't appear like a kid with Nicole Kidman. He's in his 30s. They're all in their 30s.
I think they're in their 40s already.
Zac Efron, you think is in his 40s?
Absolutely.
Definitely not.
You think
Casey Ellis? How old is Zac Efron? He's definitely
drumbeat, please.
He's definitely not in his 40s.
Zac Efron is 37 years old.
All right, 37. All right. Well,
listen.
Okay.
I was bored for the first time in months, meaning I couldn't
Find a show to watch.
Yeah, I was like, I've watched everything I want to see.
Right.
So I put on Lonely Planet, and it was so bad. I did not finish it. I shut it off, then I put it back on. I was like, this is shit. So done.
Okay.
On the evening of Yom Kippur, after we broke our fast for the fast that we didn't fast for, Casey and I went to the theater.
And you saw?
Saturday night.
Right.
Casey,
Yes.
are you ready to talk about what you felt about Saturday night? I
Yeah,
was
what'd you
really,
think?
I was
Man,
really
I
entertained.
don't have anything prepared.
I was really entertained. I was really entertained, and I think it's really for people that
Grew up or saw the beginnings.
The
of
fans,
Saturday,
like
the
fans of
But
Saturday
also
Night Live.
like I saw that when it started
in the 70s.
with the original people.
And I
And
think
it was great.
And I think somebody like you would enjoy it.
Right.
I think this movie is not for everybody. The casting was amazing, but Casey brought up a very good point. He's like, this probably only came to the theater so they could put it up for Oscar nomination.
He's probably right.
And it was quick moving. It's all about the 90 minutes before the first ever episode of SNL.
Oh, the before. Okay.
And
It played like 24, where like
every minute is
every
ticking
minute
away.
is
Yes,
kind of-
yes.
it's like in real
correct.
time.
Right.
No,
No,
it's in
I
real
know
time,
that.
but there was so much chaos.
Oh, I'm sure there was a tremendous amount of chaos.
And Casey was like, we're just wondering like how much is factual.
I want to read an article that shows like how much of this actually happened in the 90 minutes because there was just too many things happening that like, and then it was interesting because afterwards we ran into somebody we knew and I had kind of shared that thought. I was like, did all of this really happen? And they think, and I shouldn't be spreading potential misinformation, they said that the individual incidents were actually an accumulation of that entire season. Things that had happened.
I could,
And they, like,
well,
smushed it
and they
together.
smushed it together.
There's like a scene where like the John Belushi character just disappears and they find him in
On the ice rink.
Rockefeller Plaza ice skating, and then Lauren Michaels calmly has like a conversation with him, and you're like, did this really happen in like the 90 minutes leading? You know what I mean?
I bet you're right.
I
bet
do
I bet
believe
it is
Maybe that
over a
happened
year.
I do
over
believe-
some
Or
point,
the
but
first season.
I think they should just. I want to know what really happened and like what was just because there was just so many of those types of little incidents that you're like, how could all of this have happened in an hour?
I believe the writers were definitely sniffing that cocaine, and they showed that.
Oh,
And
yeah. Oh,
and
that- oh, my
everybody
God.
was smoking cigs.
Surprised not more people died. And they did have a lot of people who died over the few years.
The casting was incredible.
William Dafoe. Here we go.
Played.
Like a network
He
executive.
is everywhere.
I was like, he's everywhere. This man is.
he's-
He's everywhere.
He happens to be great.
He is great.
He's really great.
But the non-known actors, like the only young actor that like we knew was Nicholas Braun from Succession.
Right.
Everybody else are
What
new
did
faces.
And he played
two
parts.
characters.
Oh,
Jim Henson, which nobody really remembers that the Muppets were in the beginning of SNL.
that's right.
And he played Andy Kaufman.
Wow.
I'm concerned that this movie, I'm sure obviously will go to streaming. I just don't know I'm sure it'll play fine if you stream it at home, but it was really enjoyable in the theater.
Oh, good. Who played Gilda?
An unknown actress.
Okay, just curious.
An unknown actress.
She nailed the mannerisms. The Chevy Chase was amazing.
The guy that played Chevy Chase.
Dan
Billy
Aykroyd
Crystal
was great.
Yeah, and apparently Dan Aykroyd gave his blessing and saw it and was like, "This is amazing."
Good.
It was. I recommend it if you're a fan of SNL. If you don't get SNL, if you don't know anything about SNL, don't do it.
Right.
Mom, guess what I started?
What?
So you told me, and Karen told you, what show?
Yeah, it's High Potential.
Let's talk.
Which I got to tell you, Karen actually is up on all these new shows, and she said you've got to watch High Potential. I loved it.
Guess what?
You liked it?
Holy shit!
Right.
This is the network show.
Yes,
we need to be watching.
So good for a network show. And it's I think it's original. It's a takeoff of something from a story in France. That's It's a quick.
So you think this is like based on like a log line of some sort?
I don't know if it's a log line or I don't know if it's like a book, but I think I think it's so enjoyable, and I love the fact that I know nobody. The detective. Well. Who is she?
Oh my God, Kaitlin Olson. She's in Hacks. She plays Gene Smart's daughter in Hacks. She's in Always Sunny Philadelphia.
So different.
She looks
so to me, I didn't recognize her.
Killing it right now.
Good for her. And the guy who plays the detective,
Rescue Me.
Yes, but he also was in a lot of soaps in the early days.
Oh,
what's his name?
I'll tell you.
Okay,
because I'm like really into this.
He got really pumped
Daniel
up.
Daniel Sunjata.
Okay, he got really pumped up. I mean,
he's adorable, and I just remember him from Rescue Me. Now,
right.
So this is just interesting. After 3 days of viewing on linear means television, on ABC, the third episode of High Potential hit a series high. So what does this mean?
It's doing well.
This means, and this is what you want, I think, in a network show. Instead of the premiere blowing it out of the water with ratings and dropping,
right?
Which guess what? Guess what's dropping? Because I checked the ratings.
Like what could it be?
Doctor Odyssey has dipped. I checked the ratings. I saw a whole fucking chart. Episode 1, episode 2 down a little, episode 3 down a little. And you know what? I don't care about those people. And I thought, I don't care anymore. I'm over it because this is the show.
I told
how
you.
I want to feel.
I told you.
I want to feel like her character, Morgan Gilroy, is so...
Gosh, she's so good.
She's just
so good.
It's such a great, fun character.
I got a text.
You took notes?
Wait, no, I got a text message from the girl I met in Greece. Oh, no. Kathy. Kathy wrote to me, Doctor Odyssey is beyond horrible. And I never told her to watch it. I could only stomach about 10 minutes of it. And I wrote, it's such a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. She wrote, Love Boat eating piles of shit so bad.
Dr. Odyssey, I would be shocked if you got greenlit for another season. High potential. So everyone says, how do you have time to watch everything? Well, for instance, while Lennon was in acting class tonight, I sat in the car and I watched on your phone. I watched it and I was like, she's great.
She's great.
In this.
She is. I think it's such a great concept.
You know who she's married to?
No,
she's married to the guy from Always Sunny who owned the soccer team with Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElherty.
Oh, okay,
and
such a great. Different show. The fact that she's got the kids and
she's a single mom, and you know who plays her husband? He was in SNL.
No, I didn't recognize.
He's married to Colby Smulders.
Oh, really?
Remember the guy that we saw in the subway, Casey? Mm-hmm. The guy that we saw in the subway from SNL, Taram. I can never say his names. Taram.
That's who that is.
And I saw him in Hamilton once.
Is that who that?
George.
Is that?
Yes, I saw him in Hamilton once.
I didn't recognize any of them.
Wow.
I cannot, and I'm usually good at recognizing.
I'm a little disappointed.
The show was so good.
All right, so look at this. It's so rare that you like something.
I put it on Hulu.
Yes,
because I didn't even realize it was on ABC.
It's on ABC, and it's
on Tuesday nights.
It's Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. Right. So the next day it drops on Hulu.
Actually, it dropped on Hulu midnight the next.
Well, yeah, because that's what happens. You were up.
Right. I was so excited. I was so happy.
These formula shows. Here's a formula show with a woman starring. And
but
this is the one that's doing.
I don't think
it is a formula because every episode starts off with somebody dying.
Yeah, it's a different.
And she's going to try to solve it. It is definitely formula,
right? But it's a different idea.
It's great, and you know the woman, the other detective female that's like kind of
in charge. The one in charge.
She was in Scrubs.
Yes, she's been in a few things.
Yeah, I think she was.
She's been in a few
some
things.
Greys as well.
Right,
so
right.
That's definitely
Excellent.
the show to start watching.
That is the one show that I can highly recommend. I could not recommend anything else.
I didn't get to watch, and I heard from someone that it's good. Disclaimer. Did you see Disclaimer on Apple TV?
I watched the first two, which is dropped, the first 2 episodes. Again, Karen said, start watching it. Karen's really been doing a lot of TV also.
Jesus Christ, Karen.
And did I love it? So far, I don't love it, but I want to see what happens. Right.
Do you think I should try to watch it?
Yeah, give it a shot. I mean, and the 3rd episode dropped today.
Oh, which Fridays is the drop.
Yeah, which I didn't realize.
Wow.
And another show that I was told to watch, which is nothing compared to High Potential.
Oh, Felicia's taking out her notes,
I
guys.
only wrote it because I can't remember names. Is Murder in a Small Town.
Oh.
That's, from what I could see, was on Fox and again went to Hulu. I only watched the first episode. I'm not sure. It's not terrible.
Who's anybody in it?
The only one I recognized on this show, Murder in a Small, is right now Cromwell. What's his name? He played Babe, the pig movie.
Babe?
James Cromwell.
Oh,
he's like
okay, old.
400 years old. I mean, he's old. I don't know if he's a regular.
So are you gonna keep watching this?
We'll see. Yes.
All right. Tell everybody what I made you watch this week. Anatomy of Lies, which Karen also watched. So I'm just gonna say this: spoilers. Like, if you haven't done Anatomy of Lies, even though this story's been out in the public, but if you want to be surprised at all, fast forward or pause, whatever. 3 episodes dropped. It's on Peacock.
It's another documentary. Right.
Mom, what? You hated it?
I didn't hate it. I just...
Weren't you blown away by this wild story?
I mean, she's obviously crazy.
You guys, this is about this woman
either that or she's brilliant that she could come up with all
This is psychopath.
Yeah, she's psychopath. I felt bad. Who would I feel bad
for?
The
nurse, Jen, her wife.
The wife and the kids. Other than that, I felt bad for nobody else. I didn't really care about her.
Why would we care about her?
No, I'm just saying I didn't care. The only true person, and I felt so because she really got.
So let's just say for anybody that doesn't know, Elizabeth Finch was a writer in Hollywood, and she really clawed her way in. Her favorite show was Grey's Anatomy. She clawed her way into the writer's room, and then before you know it, is the showrunner and a writer, and that's like the top role you could possibly get
like 8 years,
on a
7
show.
or 8 years or something.
And this documentary interviews a lot of the staff on Grey's Anatomy that were writers. They tried to get Camilla Lunnington. I bet you the actors were all told, do not do this. Word. There was so much Grey's Anatomy in this. And as a person who still watches Grey's Anatomy, if you watch Grey's Anatomy, this is a must-see.
Chandra wasn't in it either.
Shonda probably
said nothing to do with it.
I know.
And it's bad press.
But is it bad? It might be bad press. So this woman... She craved attention, and she said she had cancer, and then she wrote about cancer. But the craziest is like the shooting in Pittsburgh, the temple in Pittsburgh. She claimed she had a friend, and she fucking flew up, and she flew from LA to there, and then
no, none of that.
And then she decides to go to like a mental health kind of rehab.
How did she? Why did she?
She said she had PTSD from the temple shooting.
Okay, so we know none of that's true.
But here's what's so fucked up. She goes in and she says her name is Jo. Jo is the character
on Grey's Anatomy
that Camilla plays.
Right.
And she meets this woman. She's a nurse. Her name is Jen. And you just see in these interviews how fucked up this poor woman is.
Yeah, I felt so
This
bad.
woman was in a domestic violence situation.
And he was threatening her.
She had 5 fucking kids.
Right.
She had 5 kids. But you see in her face how traumatized she is. And this documentary would have been nothing without her. And her daughter was amazing.
Would have been nothing without.
So lo and behold,
the fact that this girl Finch,
they end up Finch was publicly out of the closet, and she leaves, and then she says, you know, I like you, and her and Jen end up fucking getting married. And I just
over just the span of a few months. I don't think this was like a span. And she took over the family, and
the lies, and the nurse discovers that she doesn't see a scar from the port for her cancer.
Right. Little by little, she realizes,
oh my God, like this woman is lying. And who's going to believe a woman that was met in a fucking mental like rehab? Like this girl has nothing that she could prove. It was very, very sad.
Very sad.
Awful. And but kudos to her for writing a letter to the Grey's Anatomy staff and being like, this is the deal. This woman is lying. Now, the way it's ending, I'm like, oh my God, where is this woman now?
Where is this woman?
There was no card. There was no what we call a chyron or a graphic explaining
what happened to her and where she is.
Also, Elizabeth Finch claimed that like her fucking brother assaulted her and that he fucking committed suicide. And
he's
brother
alive,
is alive.
And a doctor in I think Florida.
I don't know. Who knows? That might be a lie.
Well, yeah, that might be a lie.
But her poor brother. So,
well, her brother should have come out and said something.
They didn't want. He didn't come out. The parents didn't come out.
Yeah.
So ready for this? So I find when this doc first dropped, I probably watched it like within 24 hours. At the time, she had 8,780 followers on Instagram.
Now she has.
Let's check. She came out with a statement, a whole fucking statement, basically apologizing. I've given no one reason to believe a word I say. I lied about so much. The truth is, I married a woman with whom I felt deeply, truly in love with, yada, yada, yada. The truth is no excuse, no justification. I'm totally like paraphrasing. It ends like this. I will work and wait as long as it takes. She will work again. She will work again.
Yes, she will.
Because I want to see what she writes next. Don't you? I know. It's fucked up.
I really don't think she should get another chance. I think she should be punished somehow. Not obviously, she's not going to go to jail for it, but she somehow. I feel bad for the family she bullshitted. You know.
So, do you recommend this documentary? If you're Grey's Anatomy lover, you have to watch this documentary. And if you like
documentaries, I don't love documentaries.
But didn't you find?
I watched it.
Fascinating to hear, like, just like the insides of Hollywood and the writers' rooms and production and all that.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I was like,
you would find it more interesting, obviously, but you know,
I was so hooked, Mom.
I couldn't believe that the whole writers' room got hoodwinked and nobody.
I know.
Didn't she have any friends
they were like
would say,
so
let me
tight
go to
with
the
her.
doctor with you. Let me visit you in the hospital.
One of them did,
Nothing.
and then she got mad. Why'd you come to the doctor with me?
God,
I told you to wait in the car.
Jeez,
it's real. Her parents thought she had cancer.
I know. Wow, she was a great liar. Which
she went to the crazy. She grew up in Cherry Hill in New Jersey.
Right,
Cherry Hill.
Right.
So yeah, I recommend it, guys. Shrinking came back with Jason Segel. I love this show, and it already got announced. It got picked up for another season.
Of course.
Now. First episode, I was like, fine, whatever. But episode 1 of season 2 ends with like a little, like a jaw dropped, like unexpected wow. So I'm not going to spoil what happens. I don't know why I don't feel like spoiling this because I feel like this is a show people don't need to watch immediately. Like some shows, if you don't see it immediately, like Love is Blind or Anatomy of Lies, like Tell Me Lies finale, like internet will ruin it. Shrinking, that's not going to be ruined. I recommend it. Love is Blind. We still have not gotten to the weddings, but damn, are they dropping like flies. 3 couples, done. Remember I told you about the guy who lived in the basement?
Yes.
Hannah dropped. This guy, I can't wait to see him at the reunion. He must be mortified. Besides the fact that like he doesn't know how to boil pasta, like his parents still pay for like all the bills.
Well, his parents are stupid then.
Shame on his mother. His mother said when we met his parents, who were lovely, I'd like to take care of him. Blah, blah, blah. Shame on her.
She's such an enabler.
But she didn't cause him to not eat pussy well.
No, it's not her fault.
Because Hannah says he doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to go down on me.
Is he a Jewish boy or Italian?
I think he's Italian. Why? Does that make
just
a difference?
Mom!
No.
Just
do
curious.
Jews not go down? What are you talking about?
I'm just curious.
I don't even want to know. What do you mean?
I don't want. Mom, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't even want to. Oh my goodness!
Just in my head.
Oh my
I don't know.
What's in your head?
Nothing. Stupidness.
What? Mom? Jews don't go down on people?
I don't think Jewish boys do.
Really? Well, good thing I didn't marry a Jew.
I don't see Casey Shoulders laughing. He's probably horrified.
Are you horrified?
Poor Casey.
Oh wait, Alex has joined the Zoom. So, Mom,
yes,
we have Miss Alexandra Hayes,
who I've met once.
You've met once, and I just want to say some backstory for those that don't know how I met Alex. Alex was one of my clients over the hardcore pandemic,
right?
And we met over Zoom. And I thought she was so cute and pretty, of course. So I stalked her like a good girl does. And I discovered that this young, beautiful woman who I thought was so smart, where did she go to college? The University of Michigan.
There you go.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna slide that in. So then we started talking, I went to Michigan, you went to Michigan. And it was like, we just were like little kindred spirits. I mean, I've got like a decade at least on her. I'm definitely way older than her. But I fell in love with her, and it made working through the pandemic so so much better. Because
easier.
It was so hard being home with a 3-year-old. And then I was like always looking forward to like sitting on Zoom with her. So fast forward, we come out of, we're still in the pandemic, but she was living in Brooklyn. I was like, you should come over. We should meet in real life. And we met in real life, and she came with her husband, and she met Lennon, and Lennon loved her, like still talks about her. And then Alex left her like kind of corporate job that she was doing.
Well, she left her life here along with her husband. No, she didn't leave her husband. I mean, she went with her husband.
They went to LA, and she started TikTok, and her TikTok name is Hello Hayes. And guess how many followers this amazing woman has now? 266,100 followers. Let's give an introduction to Ms. Alexandra Hayes.
Oh my God. My face, I was just smiling here like a little dumb baby. That was so nice. And I can't believe, I feel like I've known you for so much longer than that. I don't know, like COVID time.
I know.
It's such a strange thing. Like you saying we met during the pandemic feels kind of crazy. I feel like I've known you
longer
for 10 years.
And that was, I agree. I also feel like the pandemic feels like a really long time ago, but it was only 4 years ago, but it feels like a long time ago.
Totally. I also, it's funny that you remember like stalking me and realizing that I went to Michigan. I feel like I wanted to be your friend and that I was like sleuthing, trying to get you to like me.
Wow. I'm so honored.
It's true though. Like these work relationships,
oh my
it's the only way to get through.
It is. And I adore you. So can you just tell everybody like how you started this TikTok influencing all your content? I will say though, when I did start, conversing with you and really talking to you, I felt like, oh my God, this is a girl who like knows her shit. Like I would easily call you and be like, I need advice. Like, so I feel like I feel like you are like our modern day youth, like Carrie Bradshaw. You're married, but you are like the married version of Carrie Bradshaw.
Well, I talk about everything. So I talk about dating, though I wouldn't be like dating is the focus of what I do. That's such a compliment, by the way. Love Carrie. I like to say that I'm like, actually, I would never compare myself to Carrie because I feel like that's just the most like narcissistic thing. But if I had to, I'd say I'm a stable Carrie Bradshaw, more stable.
Yeah, exactly. You were definitely more stable.
It's a lot of therapy. I have therapy to thank for that.
For those that don't know you, so my listeners are like obviously like pop culture. I feel like my listeners are older millennials. Your viewers are the younger millennial. I think you even have some Gen Zers.
There's a range. Yeah. So Hello Hayes is the name of my advice column. It's an advice show. And you can think of it as like an advice column for the internet generation. So whether Dear Sugar is an advice column that I always have been so inspired by. Ask Polly, which used to be at New York Mag. So that's what Hello Hayes is. It's an advice show if you think about like what the product is that I'm making. But it's I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but Dear Sugar, isn't that what Tiny Beautiful Things is based on with Catherine Yes,
Hahn?
Tiny Beautiful, exactly. Tiny Beautiful Things was first a book that was a collection of Dear Sugar columns, which was then adapted into the Catherine Hahn show, which I loved. She's genius.
The minute I started watching the show, I called you up. I'm like, you have to watch this show.
Oh, I know. I think you sent me a text. You're like, this is like, it's sort of like Hello Hayes. I'm like, Marni, this is the source. This is the inspiration.
I didn't know.
But yeah, you're right. I worked in media, had more corporate jobs for a long time, but had always felt this pull between believing that I had a creative voice. I am a writer. I wanted to tell stories, make stories. Like I really wanted to get my hands into making things. Plus this like business savvy. Like looking back, I think I was able to be successful in some of my media jobs because of both of those things. Like I was such a worker bee and wanted to make everything and wanted to ask questions. Like when I started working with you were an executive producer. I was just getting into learning about video. Like I wanted to be your friend because I thought you were cool and funny and nice. And selfishly, I'm like, I want to learn about this like side of the media business and the content creation business. Plus, like there's this like I have this like entrepreneurial spirit that I think manifested in some former jobs as like dissatisfaction. After COVID, it just started to like bubble up into like, I don't want to work for anybody else. Like, I think I have something to say. I think I want to make my own thing. And I don't know, like a lot of people post COVID, I just figured out what will it look like for me to quit my job? What do I have to do in order to try to pursue this dream?
And you did.
And it's been like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And it's going. I launched my podcast recently and it's making a podcast. It's sometimes it's a bumpy and exciting road.
Is it crazy for you to see like the numbers grow and are you constantly checking like your followers to see the numbers, or have you learned like that's not good?
I've learned that's not good.
Yeah.
You and I, when I first started, I think I was really struggling with the whole concept of growth, what to do when you're growing exponentially and then what to do when you're not. And I think the nature of being on the nature of life is that there's going to be some periods of extreme growth and so much is happening. And then things are going to be a little more stagnant. I'm like, if you could reframe that word, they're just going to be a little less all over the place.
Right.
It's called the roller coaster of life.
It's called, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's
it is. Like, I'll give you a thing that I actually had in my brain the other day. So you said, I have 266,000 followers on TikTok. I haven't grown on TikTok I hit 250,000 in December of last year. So I haven't grown a lot on TikTok. And about a week ago, I felt myself saying in my head, like, what the fuck, Hayes? You haven't grown at all on TikTok. What have you been doing? And then, because I've been working on this a lot, I thought, oh, well, you started your podcast and thousands of people listen to that a month. You started your YouTube channel, which has, 50,000 subscribers now. You've been working on another secret project that is taking up a lot of your time. And that is growth. And I think it's easy sometimes to forget. And then I was like, oh, so it's okay that you didn't grow there. And it was helpful. Like, I'm trying to rewire my brain.
Right. Because you're growing. Yeah. We're hard on ourselves.
We can't do everything at once. We're so hard on ourselves.
So hard on. I'm constantly beating myself up, and it could be anything.
It's easier to be mean to ourselves sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's harder work to figure out how to rewire our brain and not be so cruel. I feel like that's our kind of base. Is how do I beat myself up?
It's crazy. So do you mostly just watch content on YouTube? Like, as a younger millennial, what do you do you watch television? You could be truthful. It's okay. It's okay.
No, I know this is a safe space. I do watch some television, but I feel like talking to you, I'm like, if I'm comparing myself to you,
don't compare yourself to me. I am ridiculous.
I find myself watching reruns of shows that I was inspired by more than I watch new stuff. Like, I am doing I'm almost done with a rewatch of Sex and the City, and I am doing a rewatch of Girls.
These are great shows.
I'm very inspired structurally by those shows. So I've been rewatching them from how was this episode made perspective, and what can I learn from the way these episodes were made. I think actually, in hearing myself say that out loud now, my relationship with TV, probably since starting to make Hello Hayes and thinking more about expanding it into a long form show, has become less escapist and more educational.
Yeah.
And that is an interesting shift.
Well, every time I watch anything, I feel I'm constantly making note. I'll say to Casey, that's a great shot. Or, oh my God, why didn't I'll make notes. Why didn't they cover that?
The season finale of this show.
Oh yeah.
There was one set. Yeah, I have to, but there was one moment that I'm actually, since that I was just amazed by the sound effect of it all, which reminded me of what you just said. So let's talk.
Felicia doesn't watch Tell Me Lies. Now, I can't tell you, I have not really spoken about Tell Me Lies on this podcast, and I asked Alex when I told her I would love for her to be on the podcast. She goes, well, tell me something to watch. And Alex was like, I'm going to Hawaii. I was like, this is great. You're going to download Tell Me Lies because it's only now 2 seasons. I binged season 1. And then it was I want to say it was over a year until season 2 came out. So for all those people that were waiting, all of my friends that watched Tell Me Lies were like, we don't remember what happened. So we did a YouTube recap. I had to remember. And now, watching the season 2, now, it was weekly. And it bothered. I needed it to be more of a binge. Because as it happened weekly, I was forgetting shit. My brain is
I got a lot of qualms with the show. Got a lot of qualms.
Okay, let's get into it. So you watched it. You did Tell Me Lies.
And I'm so happy that it was a great recommendation.
Oh, great.
For the record. love that I watched it, and I feel blessed that I was able to binge the first season, and then the second season was already out.
Right.
So that was really nice. And I did have to go week to week for maybe only 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
So I can't. You had a slightly different experience than me. Where do I begin with this show?
First of all, do you know that Jackson, Steven, the guy that plays Steven, you know who his mother is? Katie Segal.
Katie Segal. I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Married with children.
Years ago.
Sons of Anarchy. She's like she's a star. I mean, she's
originated.
Yeah, I fear I don't know who this is.
She originated in the beginning of her showbiz career.
She was a singer. She was a singer.
Bette Midler.
Oh, with Bette Midler. Did you ever do Sons of Anarchy?
No.
But Married with Children, right? Like that's just
no.
Okay.
Oh,
have you ever heard
Should
of
I add this to my list?
No. Sons of Anarchy was great, but have you ever heard of Married with Children? That was
show. I'm not sure. That's such a common phrase.
Okay, it was like a show in the 80s. It was the first show that Christina Applegate was on.
Know her. I do know her.
Okay, so it was her first show as like a kid.
So he's a Nepo baby. Jackson's a Nepo baby. Yeah. He's hot.
Okay, do you think he's hot?
I do, but I think it's the horrible, toxic, I think we all have something inside of us that is pleasantly triggered by a toxic man.
I'm like, I want him to be hotter, but there is something, as you said, something so cruel about him.
Intoxicating.
Yeah, and he's such a dick.
I hate him. I really hate him, and I feel so conflicted about
the character.
I was going to say you hate his character.
Which shows he's a very good actor. He's a very good
actor. And they're dating in real life.
I know. She's so pretty. Grace Van Patten. She's so
pretty. I want to bring her hair to my stylist the next time as reference for my blonde. I feel like my blonde is kind of close to hers, the blonde I've been going for.
Do you think she looks like Shailene Woodley?
I totally see it.
I see her.
I see it.
So
I do see the resemblance.
Isn't it wild watching the show? Do you flash back to like dating in college? Well, you married your college sweetheart.
It's funny. We don't really consider each other our college sweethearts.
Okay.
We started, the first time I hooked up with Brian was March of his senior year.
Okay.
So he graduated 2 months later. I think back to being in relationships that were terrible and the back and forth of just staying in something that was so clearly degrading me, us both.
Like the game, just the constant game in college.
Well, the constant, yeah. Like the constant game.
And the constant kind of making people jealous. Like that for me was like a big thing in college. And I hate,
you wanting to make the person that you like jealous by doing something else.
Or vice versa. Like the guy wanted to make me jealous or it just felt like a lot of douchebaggery in this show. Which reminded me of guys in college.
Douchebaggery doesn't even cover it. It's like sociopathic behavior. Yeah. Apparently, sorry, go ahead, Felicia.
I'm sorry. Now that you're talking about it, I did watch the first season.
I can't. You now know what we're talking about?
Now I know what you're talking about.
You watched the first season?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember it though? It was a long time ago.
They were in college. I did.
They're in college.
You know what the problem is? I watch so much TV. So more, because I have no life, that I really don't remember names. At this point, I'm not remembering what I've watched.
So you watched the show.
That's fair.
I did watch the show, and it was good. I really did enjoy the first season.
Now you can binge season 2, Mom.
Right.
We're going to spoil the finale. I'm just putting it out there.
Wait, we're going to spoil the finale.
Yeah, spoiler.
A couple of things that I found frustrating, separate from the relationships, was I felt like they used this tactic to keep our attention as a viewer, which is I dislike that from season 1, episode 1, we know something happens with Drew, and I don't find out until season 2, season finale. I feel like that's disrespectful of my time. Introduce new questions throughout the season, sure, but don't manipulate my attention to the point where honestly, questions are unanswered for this long.
And also season 1 for a viewer, for me who watched it was so long ago, I had to literally Google what was the letter to the dean about? Because I forgot. I fucking forgot.
I just felt like they could have been a little bit more respectful to
the viewer,
the audience's attention.
Yeah.
By answering some of the questions earlier. And then I just sort of felt it felt a little bit like a tennis ball. They're just dropping new betrayal that it was sort of outlandish.
It was also they're having sex or not having sex. She became horrible. Don't you I sympathize for her. And then she became an asshole.
Total asshole. Apparently in the book, it's much more clear that Stephen is a sociopath and Lucy is a victim. Apparently it's much clearer of a delineation. But the show...
That's interesting.
I know. I'm curious about why they made that choice. Maybe it's better TV.
Yeah, like that scene where she texts him, like in the flash forward. There's a flash forward aspect. And she's like, oh, meet me by the pool. And then he shows up and she's like fully having sex in the pool. So she could see, she wants him to see her having sex with another guy.
Yeah.
And
you know what? I know why I don't watch the second season. Okay. I'm like,
Mom, I don't think this show's for you. I think it's for us.
It's not.
It was disappointing. It was that scene in particular was quite disappointing.
Her face.
I was really upset by that.
You were. It makes her.
I was really upset by that, by like Lucy's lack of growth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And what did you...
Like, you want to show us... I saw an interesting interview with like a clip of her on TikTok like an hour ago where she was saying, you know, the show isn't glamorizing toxic relationships. We're showing that they're bad. We don't want people. We're showing this so that you know not to get involved in it. And I'm curious what you guys think about that. Like, do you think that that's fair for her to say? Do you think they are glamorizing toxic?
I think they absolutely are. I think if I was a girl in college, I'd be like, oh, all right, let me cheat.
That's what hot sex
around.
looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely disagree with that. I disagree because unfortunately, I think everything in media glamorizes everything. Like, oh my God, that episode where they're doing that drinking game, the slap. Oh, dude, I know. My God. It's called like slap and drink. Like you take a shot and then you slap a person.
And
I thought to myself, oh my God, if I was in college, me and my friends would be dumb enough to play this game right now. Like,
for sure.
I'm sure a bunch of kids on TikTok were like, let's play this game.
Yeah.
It's 1,000%
you're so right.
glamorizing it. 1,000%. Oh my God.
I felt that way too. I feel that way too. And like we as, you know, millennials can see that this is not healthy.
Right.
But if I was 17, I mean, I was thinking, it made me think back to like watching the OC. And like, I tried to remember like, what was I learning about love from the OC? And I don't really remember.
What I took away from the OC was Chrismica.
Chrismica. Oh my God. Iconic. Do you think did they coin Chrismica?
I hope so. I don't know. But it's funny because when the OC was on for me, I was in my apartment in New York City.
Right.
But like Sex and the City was my college show, by the way.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? And like we didn't have cable. We had to like pay for cable. It was a whole very difficult watching Sex and the City in college. Yeah.
Interesting.
And you couldn't stream it. And it was...
there was no streaming then.
No, but like we would all gather. Whoever paid for HBO, we'd gather.
Oh, you went to
gatherings.
Well, once you were in the city,
when we were in the summer when I was interning, we would go to my friend's aunt's house.
Because she had,
I do miss a TV gathering. I do miss that.
Right?
That's like I feel like that's like a cultural community like touchstone that I personally don't have anymore.
Sometimes if there's like some sort of finale on like a Big Brother, like a competition show. Sometimes we'll like try to watch it with people.
That's fun, like with your neighbors, or
Big Brother fans.
Okay,
I try to make it. You know,
it's fun. I mean, the last time I had that was when Brian and I weren't living together. Brian is my husband. Stranger Things and Game of Thrones were both on, and I'd like go and watch with his roommates, and we'd all watch together, and that was so fun.
I get together every year with my Michigan friends for the Oscars.
Oh,
every single year.
That's a really good way to keep up that feeling.
It's our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, any other reruns that you watch or like that you're hoping to follow up and do more research for? Is it for your secret project?
No, the research is more for... So I have my Hello Hayes advice podcast where I answer, like every episode covers a certain theme. Like next week is actually talking about sex in your romantic relationship and how to communicate for what you need. And I take 3 different advice submissions that kind of approach the theme from a different angle. So I have that format and I've like developed a good process around that and that's going well. But what I've always wanted to do is think about like, what does the advice column format look like in like TV show format? And I've been kind of exploring, like, what does Hello Hayes look like as a show? Because, Hello Hayes starts as an advice column, but like, I want this to be like the biggest advice show in the world that looks and feels in so many different ways. So I've been doing a lot of work thinking about what that show could look like.
And not like a scripted, but like an unscripted version.
There would probably be like scripted and unscripted elements to it. Scripted in the sense that I'd be like really plotting it out not just like setting up the camera over a week and like hoping I get something. I've realized that type of...
Oh, well, of course, it's got to be produced.
Yeah. So it would probably be a mix, but it wouldn't be a scripted series. Okay,
it's not the next version of Sex and the City for the younger
No, but the way that a Sex and the City episode is structured with like, it starts with a question: can single women be friends with married women? And throughout the course of the episode, you watch Carrie grapple with that question. And there are things that happen that help her gain clarity on that. And by the end of the episode, there's some way to tie that all up in a bow.
Yep.
And she is a columnist, but we're not receiving her answer to that question via a column. We're getting it as TV entertainment. So like, what does that look like? It's really, I'm experimenting with the idea of like an advice vlog. Like what does my column look like as a vlog that also still has the like...
Do you know what vlog means, Felicia?
Video.
Like a video blog.
By the way, years and years ago, just to show my age, there was a newspaper columnist, Dear Abby.
We know Dear Abby.
Exactly.
Okay,
yes.
I love it, Mom. I love it.
I just want to make sure you girls
we know Dear Abby.
Very young.
Know Dear Abby. Love Dear Abby. Thank you, Dear Abby, for paving the road.
There you go. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Alex, tell everybody where people could find you, how to listen to your podcast, where you are.
So I'm on TikTok at Hello Hayes, and then the podcast is every Tuesday, and you can watch it on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, all the other ones that have names I'm unaware of, but I distribute it everywhere.
Oh my God. I am so proud of you. I really am. And everybody should follow you because you're just a joy to listen to. Like, your voice is soothing. And I appreciate,
really nice.
And I appreciate, Alex, you come on when you're stressed and you're like, I'm having a hard day. I'm depressed right now. Like you're very open, you're honest, you're raw. And that's what I've always told you. You're genuine and it shows. Seriously.
I really appreciate that, Marni. And I appreciate how much help and guidance you've given me over the years.
Don't forget.
You're a part of the story.
Don't forget me.
You know I want to hire you as my executive producer one day. So once I start making money.
Thank you, Hayes. She's amazing.
Yes.
So everybody look out for Hayes because I just think she's going to be big. I wanted to talk about the Penguin, and Felicia goes, we weren't recording. Felicia goes, is that the one with Lady Gaga? Lady Gaga is the Joker movie, which fucking bombed.
I knew it.
I didn't realize it was a musical, but I do want to say.
Oh, it's a musical?
Yeah. So like, I'll watch that one if fucking streams. If you're not watching Penguin on Max, this is the show to watch on Max. Similar to High Potential, that like the third episode rated the highest. Penguin, fourth episode, highest ratings. The fourth episode is unbelievable. Kristen Milotti, who plays Sophia Falcone, her acting in this show, she's the mob daughter. She's the daughter of the mafia in Penguin.
I don't get, first of all, I lost Max, so.
Mom, I got to come over. This is insane. I got to come over.
I lost Max.
So
That's okay.
Penguin, I think, is the show that everybody should be watching. Let's discuss Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
Mom, this week.
Yes.
I mean, other than all these fucking shows that we're now watching. But October 23rd, Casey, Breath of Fire, 4-parter documentary about a YouTube astrologer turned yogi guru. Can't fucking wait. Love is Blind, weddings, can't wait. I don't think anyone's going to get married. I hope if anybody gets married, it's Garrett and Taylor and Somebody's Somewhere with Bridget Everett. I still watch the show. It's premiering last season, October 27th. So thank you all. This was all about the lies.
All about the lies.
That's the name of the episode. All right, guys. Bye, Fel.
Bye, Marn.
Mwah.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Going home.
Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia.